FTMO is widely known as one of the best, if not the best, prop firm in the whole world. In this video, we're going over what makes it such a great prop firm, as well as how do you pass the challenges and what happens afterwards. Let's go ahead and get started. I'll be going into my personal experiences with FTMO over the last year in an upcoming video, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. The main reason that people like FTMO so much is basically because you can pay a small amount of money and have access to a $100,000 up to $100,000 account, which you can leverage up to 100 times, basically meaning that you control up to a maximum of $10 million from each of these accounts. Now, you can get up to 3 of these accounts at one time. Now, that's a lot of money, and that will definitely cost you some amount of money. But here's one of the coolest parts about FTMO is if you pass the challenge, the verification, and have a first successful month, which we'll dive deeper into each of the subjects in this video, you'll actually get that the amount you paid back. So it'll actually be basically like it was for free as long as you actually end up passing later. FTMO offers 4 base currencies for your account. You can choose between USD, Euro, Pound, and because they're based in the Czech Republic, they also accept the Czech krona. So you can choose between the 4 of those. So with the option there, you can either do the normal account, which has the $10,000, $25,000, $50,000, and $100,000 options, or with the aggressive model, you can choose instead $10,000, $25,000, $50,000, but not $100,000. So with that one, again, with the aggressive model, you do get to double the amount of risk that you're able to take on per both the daily loss limit as well as the maximum loss limit. Just to recap, again, you can buy up to 3 $100,000 accounts and trade all 3 at once as a maximum at one time. So which account option should you choose? Well, at least for me personally, I prefer the normal risk option just because it makes everything so clear. If you want to, you definitely can pick the aggressive option, but you'll have to double a lot of your calculations later on, which at least for me, I don't like doing that. So I like the normal option, and for the balance, which is just a preference, but for the balance, this one is not just a preference. It is actually around 3 times better in terms of how much money you'll end up getting to choose the $100,000 option in comparison to the $10,000 option. With the $10,000 option, you are going to pay 1.87% of the total account value that you're going to be receiving at the end. With that option. With the $100,000 option, you're only going to be paying 0.65%. So again, it's about 3 times difference in terms of how much money you're able to get versus how much money you have to pay for that, again, that refundable fee. So you can, no matter what, you get the fee back as long as you're able to pass the challenge, verification, and first successful month. The first step to any FTMO account is going to be the challenge phase. Now within the challenge phase, the objectives for the normal account are very, very simple. It's make 10% before losing 10%. Now there's also another rule. You can't lose 5% within any given day. Now this day resets on, I believe it's UTC or a very slight difference of UTC for your account. So that's a new day whenever that happens. If you have a positive account rolling over into the next day, that next day you do get that extra buffer room for that next day. So for example, if I made $1,000 today and I decide not to close it and it becomes the next day, for that next day I will have at least as of now, you still have the $6,000 maximum risk for the $100,000 account rather than just a normal $5,000. Both the maximum data loss as well as the maximum total loss are both based off the equity in your account. Make sure you know what that means before signing up for FTMO. That's a huge difference between equity and balance. The balance is basically whatever positions you close, well, the equity is your floating position. So if you have a floating position, and even if my stop loss is far below the minimum price, and it dips into the minimum price but does not hit my stop loss and ends up being a winning trade, you still lose in that scenario. So make sure you understand what equity is versus balance. It's a huge difference. And it's definitely one of the major causes that I see people losing FTMO. So definitely make sure you know what that means before you actually continue. Both the challenge and the verification steps have a minimum trading day. My record is going to be only 2 days. If you want to see the video on that where I go over how I was able to win in only 2 days, the video will be right here. And within that video, you'll see that even though I won within 2 days, I still had to just trade out the rest of the days in the period. So I still have to have that minimum 10-day period, but as long as you're able to make your profit target within any amount of days and you're able to have the minimum trading day requirement, you should be able to pass the challenge and verification steps. Now, the difference between the challenge and verification is within the challenge part, you get up to 30 days to hit the profit target. If you don't hit the profit target but you finish positive, you do get to try again for free. And eventually, if you pass on later, you still get your refund back for winning, even if you had a couple of retries in between. The only way that you would not get the refund back is if you actually end up losing. If you break one of the rules, the maximum loss, or you don't trade 10 minimum trading days, or if you hit the maximum daily loss. Those are the only circumstances where that would happen. After you pass the challenge, you'll move on to the verification stage. In the verification stage, it's around 4 times as easy as the challenge. The reason why I say 4 times is because the amount that you have to gain is cut in half, from $10,000 on the $100,000 account down to only $5,000. And that's a huge difference in terms of what your trading is, because your maximum daily loss as well as your maximum loss stay the same for that phase. So again, your account will be reset, but you only have to make $5,000 in profit on a new minimum 10 trading days in order to move on to the whole full funded account. They also have 60 days as well. So, and that's the reason they have going from 30 to 60, because they're twice as long and half the price target. I do 2 times 2, of course 4. It's 4 times as easy to complete the verification in comparison to the challenge, which I think is a pretty cool opportunity they have here. It's a very, very fair process, which I really like about FTMO. And then once you pass the verification stage, you get to move on to being a funded trader. And this is the most important part. You now have a couple more rules that you have to follow once you're a funded trader. Once you're a funded trader, you cannot trade very specific currency pairs only on predefined news times. So they don't let you trade 2 minutes prior and 2 minutes after news events. So that is something that you have to keep track of yourself, but they will send out an email letting you know which ones to avoid. And then also, if you want to log in to your client area, you are able to see which currencies you have to avoid for which news events as well. So even if there's a news event going on, then you don't have to stop trading at that moment. You just have to stop trading specific currency pairs. So at least for me personally, the entire time that I've been a funded trader, I've never had an issue with this rule. I would recommend checking in on it if you are trading a lot of currency pairs. I trade mostly indices, which is why I'm able to avoid these rules pretty easily. But again, it is really important to keep on top of that, because you will lose your account if you do trade within those 4 minutes. Again, 2 minutes prior, 2 minutes after that specific window. When you have the funded account, you still have to adhere to the same exact maximum rules in terms of your maximum loss as well as your maximum daily loss. But again, if you do have that rolling over day profit, that still applies in the funded account as well. And you also now have no minimum target. So as long as you as long as you don't break the rules, you can stay a funded trader, which is really, really cool. I really appreciate it that they do that. If you are consistent, if you make on average 2.5% gain over the course of 4 consecutive months, then you get to increase your account for free. You don't have to deposit any more money. You still get, of course, you get all the profits along the way, and they will increase the size of your account by, I believe, 20 or 25% gain on your starting account size, and the rules will still be percentage based off of that new account. With the funded account, they have a 30-day minimum for you to actually receive your first payout, making the grand total in time from the moment that you pay for FTMO to the total time that it takes to get a payout around 2 months as an absolute minimum. Again, that's 1 month for both the challenge and the verification. You do them in the minimum amount of time, and then an additional month for actually trading on the funded account before you actually can receive your first payout. On average, I've seen that most people take around 3 months or even longer before they actually are able to see any money from FTMO. So keep that in mind. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. You definitely aren't able to deposit today and get some profits tomorrow. If you'd like, you also have the option of not taking your first payout within 30 days, but you can actually extend it even longer if you want to see how big of an account you can grow. This is a pretty cool opportunity that they let you choose when you want to receive your payout in that aspect. Again, it's just a minimum of 30 days. I would recommend doing it every 30 days, but of course it's completely up to you what you want to do. As of the time of recording this, FTMO does accept US traders, however, we are limited to only using the LMAX data feed, which has had some issues in the past, but I've been notified they have been fixed since. So they also let you choose between 3 different trading platforms. They let you trade either with MetaTrader 4, MetaTrader 5, or CTrader. My personal favorite, as any longtime subscriber of this channel knows, is going to be CTrader. It's by far the best option in terms of you get to see exactly how much you are risking, which helps a lot with FTMO, since you have those percentage or dollar amount maximum losses per day and in total. So you want to make sure that you are adhering to those. So you definitely want to use the percentage indicator from CTrader that is built in. You don't need any extra EAs for that, and it's just so much better than MetaTrader 4 and 5 in my opinion. After at least 30 days have passed from your first trade on your funded account and you are up at least some amount on your account, you're able to ask for an invoice from FTMO that you will send them for 70% of whatever your account is. Now again, if you were able to make 10% on a $100,000 account, just as an example, you would get to keep $7,000 from that single month, and you would also be able to get your refund for whatever amount that you paid for the challenge for that same FTMO account, only if it's your first month, of course. I think FTMO is an absolutely phenomenal opportunity, because if you are able to make just $8,333 a month on average with your funded account, you're able to make 6 figures a year just from FTMO alone. That's a huge opportunity for most people, and that's again just with one account you're able to do that. If you are able to do that with 3 different accounts, that's of course going to be $300,000 in a single year just from FTMO. FTMO also has their built-in trading academy. However, if you're actually using the information there, you're probably not going to be able to be so successful while trading with them. So if you do want to be absolutely prepared as best as possible for taking the FTMO challenge verification and being funded, then I'd highly recommend going to vbsacademy.com, because they are the very best source for learning how to actually trade. They offer signals as well as daily live sessions. So this is the best place, again, if you do want to pass FTMO or other prop firms, that's going to be the best place for you on the internet. FTMO's customer support is absolutely great. They're really, really responsive. Sometimes it does take a little while, a couple back and forths to actually get to the root of an issue, but as long as you have the patience, they are able to work with you and respond to you. Something to note is, keep in mind they are in Prague time, so if you are in the US, sometimes they will wait until night, our time, to actually respond to you. So you have to be really patient, or you have to stay up pretty late in order to have several back and forths. As long as they're awake and up, they will be responding to your emails. Let's talk about the future of FTMO. The FTMO future is absolutely very, very bright. They keep making new improvements all the time. When they added their LMAX data provider, at first they didn't have a CTrader option. However, now they do, and I absolutely love it. It's really, really good. It's almost as good as the IC Markets CTrader application that I used to have for my old FTM account. Again, I will be talking about that in a future upcoming video, so if you do want to see that video of my past experience over the last year with FTMO, definitely check that out, and it will be linked in the description below as soon as that video is made, but subscribe so you don't miss out when I make it. As far as the future of improving the instruments provided by FTMO, they are planning on adding stocks according to a previous YouTube response that I saw a couple months ago. So hopefully that's going to be pretty soon here. I absolutely love trading stocks, and if FTMO allows traders to start doing that, that would absolutely put them well ahead of all the competition, even farther into first place in my opinion in terms of prop firms. So if they had all the options, indices, commodities, Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, and stocks, then that would just be an absolute game changer. So I really hope that they do actually do that and actually improve on FTMO. I'm really excited to see what the future holds. So I'll be making more and more videos with updates as they unfold with FTMO. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.